Welcome into the DNVR Rockies podcast brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook. Now, when you use code DNVR at sign up, you're going to get several special offers, one of which is how a $5 bet can actually win you $150 in free bets all throughout the NBA postseason. Again, that's with code DNVR on DraftKings Sportsbook when you sign up. We are your hosts of the DNVR Rockies podcast. I'm Patrick Lyons.
I'm Suzie Hunter. Hello.
And despite the fact that we don't have a game, we've got a lot to talk about.
We always have a lot to talk about. We're little chatterboxes over here.
We are. We'll break down a little bit of the Rockies Tigers series. We'll talk about one of the biggest stories in baseball. It's a big story for some right reasons, maybe some wrong reasons. Miguel Cabrera, his 3,000th hit. And we're going to tell you why the Field of Dreams project that I think some people may have been irked by just a little bit is actually very much a good thing. We'll get into all that and go off the rails as we normally do. It's Friday night. It's, you know what, right now, what this is? Friday Night Lights. That's it. There's no game. There's no Rockies game. It's all us doing it and having fun.
Let us be the light in your life tonight. You didn't get to witness history tonight, but you get to witness us. Let's go.
Yeah, Rockies Tigers, unfortunately, was postponed very close to the first pitch. It was about an hour. I kept looking. I saw that it was rainy all day, and they didn't bag it. They didn't delay it. Mm-hmm. And eventually, they did cancel it. I think the situation is ultimately that a very weird scenario would have happened if Miguel Cabrera played in the rain. Maybe it's a light rain, let's say early on, gets a hit, 3,000th hit. Wow, celebration. And then it starts pouring and they have to cancel the game before it's official. Then that hit didn't actually happen. So that's really, really strange. So they bag and they say, well, we can just do it. Normally the weather will be a lot nicer on Saturday. And it's probably the right decision.
Yeah, so now tomorrow we get 18 innings of baseball.
A lot. Yeah, a lot.
We're back to regular doubleheaders now.
We are. That's right. Yeah. Pair of 9-inning games. And the Rockies will, of course, be able to add a 29th member. And they haven't announced who that is. I imagine it will probably be a pitcher that they will bring out because this actually creates an interesting scenario. So with the doubleheader on Saturday, it's going to be Antonio Senzatella pitching game one, first game like he would have, on Friday. Austin Gomber will pitch in game two. And now you've got two guys that go on back-to-back days going on the same day, which I believe as the schedule plays out on Wednesday, there's nobody to go. Senzatella was supposed to go on Wednesday in Philadelphia, but he'll only be on 3 days rest. So does he go on 3 days rest? Do they have a bullpen day? Do they call somebody up from, the minors to kind of make a spot start? I don't know. Do you have any inklings about this? Maybe Senzatella, they only have him go out and throw like 4 innings and throws only 60 pitches and then he starts on 3 days rest.
Oh my God. I just keep thinking, I'm like, watch Senzatella throw a no-hitter tomorrow and everyone hates the Rockies. That's the one scenario that's playing out in my mind.
Wow, that's interesting. Yeah. And so one funny wrinkle, and I think we may have put this out on the DNVR Rockies account at some point, is that, Senzatella looks up to Miguel Cabrera. I mean, he's a dude, right? They're both from Venezuela. Their towns are right next to each other. Senzatella's from Valencia. Miggy is from Maracay. So I think some of the players even took photographs. Actually, I think it was Danielle Allentuck.
Yep, I was just going to say, she posted some great Instagram screenshots of them meeting Miggy, which I thought was really sweet.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's their guy. I mean, growing up, there's not too many players from Venezuela. And of course, the greatest ones are going to be revered the most. So, I would hope to be, in the clubhouse after that game to know, or maybe even beforehand and say, would you want to give up the 3,000th hit? It's a gift and a curse, right? Like all things in life. It depends on how you look at it. Wow, I'm a part of history with this guy, but also you don't want your name on one of those registries. That sounds worse than I meant it to. But you get your name on a spreadsheet. You get your name on a
spreadsheet, on a Patrick Lyons spreadsheet.
That's it. It's all the craze now. It's what everyone's talking about. I excel at it. Thanks for Nate for that pun here right before we.
I loved that. I loved that. Yes, you are excelling for sure.
I'm the spreadsheet assassin for sure. So, he's trying to keep his name off that list. So it doesn't say Miguel Cabrera, Antonio Senzatella, boom. It would be interesting to see. So yeah, I'm sure he would rather the no hitter than give up 3,000. But that's a cool little storyline. You've got Jose Iglesias also being a guy from Venezuela, Iglesias, who, had his photograph taken. And so he'll be behind the dish at some point. I don't know. That would be an interesting, side bet. I'm sure plenty of people who listen to our show or our Rockies fans in and amongst your friends make the side bet. Who gives up the hit this weekend to Miguel Cabrera? Because you got to think he's going to get at minimum 10 plate appearances, not 10 at bats, but 10 plate appearances. He might draw a walk here and there if he doesn't get a pitch, but somebody you'd have to think is going to give up that hit from this team.
The numbers, it has to be someone. It would be crazy if it wasn't. But yeah, it's wild that the Rockies get to be part of this big conversation about this really big moment.
Yeah, we'll dig into those details a little bit more in a second. The game 2, which the start times are at 11:10 a.m. How about that for early? And then
breakfast and baseball.
That's it. And then the second game, the split doubleheader, is so late. It's at 4:40 p.m. So you might actually be able to do some decent multitasking Saturday. It's a yard work day, I think, for a lot of folks. Mm-hmm. It's spring. You're potting some plants, whatever it may be. Weather's really nice. You want to go out. But if you've got the MLB at Bat app, you listen to Jack Corrigan, whatever it may be. So you can still stay, in touch and tethered to the game while also getting some things done. But in that second game at 4:40, cool story for multiple reasons. One, you've got the major league debut of Beau Brieske, not to be confused with Bill Blasky from another Saturday Night Live reference.
Have you ever seen that? A Saturday Night Live historian.
I actually am.
You are like you actually
I'm
are.
not even going to joke. Yes,
I'm not
really
making a
feel
joke.
like I am. No, it was a skit. It was one of like Will Ferrell's first big skits. And there was a bunch of guys there drinking like at an airport. And they would just tell these like crazy tales about a guy who's this larger than life figure named Bill Brasky. And so Beau Brieske, very close, was really cool because again, there'll be an interesting wrinkle. I don't know if you read Jason Stark at all from The Athletic, but he has all these. He's a Philly guy. Used to cover the Phillies.
Love my Philly people.
That's it. He's great. I think he has some family too in the Boulder area. So he's got Colorado connections, but he has like these articles that go into such minutia about different things. And so it would be interesting to see if Cabrera gets his 3,000th hit in game 2, how many of the, I think it maybe he's 31, 32 players who have 3,000 hits, if on their team, someone had their major league debut. Like imagine your first game, you're seeing something historic as that from a guy from your team. Like that would be pretty wild if that happened for Mr. Beau Brieske.
Yeah, that would be. You are very good at finding all of the possible historic scenarios that could happen.
I gotta write it down on my spreadsheet, of course, naturally.
Of course.
But Beau Brieske, this is cool. He was raised in Gilbert, Arizona, played Division II baseball, and was drafted in the 27th round in 2019. So the dude's already going to make it to the majors after only being drafted in 2019 and was a 27th round pick at a Division II school. And you know what Division II school he went to?
No, I don't.
CSU Pueblo. How about that? He played in the RMAC against, Regis and Adams State, Metro State, all of that. So that's kind of cool that he's going to now make his debut against the Colorado Rockies, a team that, he may have even played. I don't know if RMAC plays any games at Coors Field. I know some of the high schools in the Denver metro area, they will go and have games there. But again, you kind of can't make things up like that. That's pretty neat.
Yeah, that's really cool. I'm glad you did your digging.
Did a little bit of research there. I'm not sure if he has got a favorite burger shop, in the Pueblo area. Has he ever been to Sexy Pizza down in Trinidad? Actually, no, because that just opened up. So I'm pretty sure he hasn't been down there. But there's a little.
But we can't confirm. We can't confirm. We can't deny.
We cannot. We cannot.
Yeah.
It's like we heard in the press box with a couple of rumors and speculations and innuendo from a good friend. You're not wrong, but I can't confirm that.
I love that. I love this line.
We'll
And
leave that there, but that is great, right?
I've been trying to use it in everyday conversation, and no one else appreciates it the way that like we're appreciating it.
Yeah, if you like don't want to say yes to something, you say you're not wrong, but I can't confirm.
Yeah.
And that gives you enough distance. It's a classy distance. Yeah, Rockies go back to Detroit for the first time since 2014. They haven't played the Tigers since 2017. Again, they're in the AL Central, so they're out there. They've got an even 15-15 record between these two teams. Interesting little wrinkle. Rockies haven't fared as well on the road. They're only 5-10 at Comerica Park. I think they're 1-6, or they've lost their last 5 games in Detroit. CJ Crone returns to the Tigers. I don't think he has
Very
very fond
familiar.
memories. Yeah, he only played like 13 games. I think had knee surgery after that shortened 2020 season. That it ended his season early, the knee surgery, but then he became a Colorado Rocky on a minor league deal. Very, very shrewd deal by previous GM CJ Crone. Like, that was a steal. That was a steal all of a sudden.
It was a steal. And you know what? He's doing much better with us. I feel like he won the breakup, you know?
Yeah, I would agree. He is still kind of searching for a big nickname. Now, when he homers, of course, he's in the Crone zone, or the other pitcher has been placed into the Crone zone. But I feel like there's something there. There's something else. Crone Saw is a common one that has a wrestling tie-in. Unfortunately,
I don't get that. I don't get that one.
Crone Saw is so Randy Macho Man Savage.
Yeah.
Born Randy Poffo. He was a minor league catcher with the Cincinnati Reds. Yes, before he became a wrestler. And later on in life, down in Florida, he used to play basketball every day with a young Brett Phillips. Yes, that's right. Tampa Bay Rays, Brett Phillips. When Macho Man passed away, he had a heart attack, crashed into a tree, unfortunately. Brett Phillips just knew him as that old guy next door that loved to play basketball with him and had no idea he was one of the famous wrestlers of all time. Brett Phillips.
I didn't know that story. I love Brett Phillips too. Like, what a character.
Right? Yeah. Former Colorado Springs Sky Sox. So all of these things connect. Bonesaw was his character, Macho Man. That was his character in the original Spider-Man.
Okay.
Remember Peter Parker comes out to the ring?
I picture you having some kind of wall in your house where it's like the Charlie Day meme where it's like all the lines connected. I just picture you having one of those.
It's all in my head. I do free association all the time. I can, you know what it is? It's probably in my early 20s playing a lot of 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon. And you just got to get creative. And you're like, all right, hold on to that. What's the next piece? Boom. Okay, what's the next piece after that? And so that's how all these things are interconnected in some shape or form. So
fascinating. Thank you for taking it from wrestling and bringing it back to baseball.
We'll bring it back. And then Jose Iglesias, not a wrestler, but he'd probably be a good one. He's very athletic. We know that. Maybe he'll have a career later on in life, like AJ Pierzynski, who did, I think he tried to have a little bit of a wrestling career and did. Anyway, Jose Iglesias did play with Detroit from 2013 through 2018, was an all-star with them in 2015. Actually went to the American League Championship Series with Detroit there in 2013. Hit .357 in that series against the Red Sox, who would later go on to win the World Series. They have a tendency to go to the World Series and win and break hearts.
It hurts. Too soon.
It does. It does hurt. But you can feel a lot better out there if you're listening to this and drown your sorrows in a member-sized beer at the corner of Colfax in New York at the DNVR bar. If you are a member, you get that member-sized beer, which is fantastic. You get all kinds of price breaks on any of the tailgates that we might have for the Broncos. We've done party buses for the Avs as well as the Nuggets. We might do a little Rockies takeover kind of thing. You'll get price breaks on stuff like that. If you're down at the DNVR bar when we're having a watch party, we got all kinds of giveaways, and we're actually going to hook you up with some extra raffle tickets as well to win some free gear, like some of our new shirts that we have. I'm wearing one today. You can take a look at what that looks like over at dnvrlocker.com or on our YouTube channel, DNVR Sports, as well. You get access to members only Discord, and it's fantastic, especially since it's only 50 cents for your first month. And if you're ready to go all in for an annual membership, you actually get a free shirt at dnvrlocker.com. And if your body's a little bit sore, especially if you're out there doing that yard work, you're bending down and using muscles you haven't used before, Fret not, because the relief and recovery creams from Escape Artists, the highest awarded topical brand in Colorado, well, they're going to help you out since they prioritize quality and consistency. It penetrates for deep muscle tissue discomfort that's fast absorbing. And probably the best part when it comes to any of these salves, if you will, it's not going to stain your sheets or your clothes. You don't have to worry about that. And best part is you can find that at any of your local Lightshade dispensaries, now 11 in the Denver metro area. Lightshade has a premium selection of cannabis concentrates, top shelf flowers, edibles, tinctures, favorite of producer Kale Sorbo right now behind the scenes. You can't see him, but he always perks up a little bit when he hears about those tinctures.
Huge tinctures guy.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Guy. I don't know what they are. But
SPK, super producer Kale, aka TG, tincture guy. Like TG Sorbo. Like that's what we call him around these offices here.
That's what we call him at all the time.
Yeah. No, it used to be SPK, and now like recently with Lightshade and everything, he goes down there. I think he's almost been at all 11. Do you have a punch card? He kind of has this passport thing. He's made it up himself. It's pretty cute, actually. I'll admit, leather bound thing. He went to art school, so he knows how to kind of make those journals himself. But he goes and he'll get a little stamp from all 11 of the locations. You should do it too, if you need to.
Fact and fiction is just sending me. It's something. Some parts he's really revealing parts of my life. Something completely made up, and no one will have any idea. It's really, really hilarious.
But some of it, you're going, oh, that's true. I did that, or I would do that, or I'm going to do that, right?
I guess. Yeah.
No,
I haven't been here long enough to know which is fact and which is fiction. So
it's all fact in the eye of the beholder. That being anyone who listens to this. But listen, you out there, podcast listeners and viewers of our show, you can actually get 25% off non-sale items right now with code DNVR. Shop online at lightshade.com for pickup, or just visit a Lightshade location near you. And if you want to feel good during the postseason, and well, the Nuggets may not have very much more left of that, you can stop at Lightshade beforehand, and you can watch from the comfort of your own home now. Yeah, it's true. That part I'm not making up. This is fact. Go to evoca.tv/DNVR, and you can get more information about Evoca TV. What they are, it's revolutionary. It's a place where you can get all your favorite sports teams, coverage of them in one place. Nuggets, Avalanche, CSU Rams, Denver Pioneers, and now even the Colorado Rockies. Yes, we're talking Denver, Colorado Springs, Phoenix, up in Idaho. You can get it as well. Bottom line, Evoca TV has altitude sports for you. Go to evoca.tv/DNVR. Zero hidden fees, zero contract. It's just $25 per month plus the receiver, and your price gets locked in for 2 years. Never worry again about missing out on Nuggets and Avalanche with Evoca TV. And now when you use code DNVR, you're actually on top of that great package. You're going to get $10 off your first 3 months with Evoca TV. Go to evoca.tv/DNVR. Suzie, at some point in the near future, I have a feeling we're about 4 to 4.5 weeks out. You are going to chime in with your own testimonial, because I know there's some cable issues going on in the Hunter household. And I think Evoca TV could be that solution for you.
I think it could be. I need to look into it. I need to get a lot of things together, but that's pretty high on my list of things I need to figure out.
That's it. No, I like it. We got to figure out if Miguel Cabrera is going to get his 3,000th hit this weekend. He is, right? Like, he is.
He has to. I think it's so appropriate that on today, which is Earth Day, Mother Nature has decided we don't get to see this game.
I like that.
Yeah. Very funny to me.
Someone has aggravated Mother Nature. Now, you would think Mother Nature would be very upset, not with the Detroit Tigers, but in fact with the New York Yankees. So I don't know if their game has gotten rained out, right? Come on. You know this. What? Now, the big story, the reason why Miguel Cabrera is going into this game here, going into this game with 3,000 hits is because of the Yankees. Let's face it. Maybe particularly Aaron Boone, but it's the Yankees' fault, for lack of a better term.
Yeah. So Aaron Boone decided to intentionally walk Miguel Cabrera when he was at the plate with what could have been hit number 3,000. So what was that?
bottom of the 8th. Like that was his final at bat of the day. Everyone was on their feet at Comerica.
Like it was time. It could have happened. And a lot of people are heated about it because they're like, oh, you're stopping history. Oh, excuse me. It's allergy season. But yeah, a lot of people are pretty fired up about it. Miggy is not so much. He's like, it's baseball. It's a game. Like, basically, this game doesn't exist for my personal glory. It's a team sport. Like, that is the move you should have made in a game like this.
It's wonderful drama. So
I love the drama.
The baseball side of me, whether journalist or just baseball fan, I understand that move, and I'm not upset by it. However, if I was at that game, I would have been incensed. I would have been so pissed that I was robbed of history. If he just happens to go 0 for 3 and he doesn't come up, right? Like there's a double play turn before that, whatever it may be, and he doesn't come up, you go, oh, he was on deck. Man, he had 3 shots. Hey, I was there. Like I bought a ticket hoping to see history. I didn't. What are you going to do? But the fact that Aaron Boone stood in the way, held up those 4 fingers. In fact, we were watching it at the Blake Street Tavern at the time for a wonderful event for our chapter here of Sabre. We get together the 3rd month.
Our Sabre lunches.
Our Sabre lunches are fantastic. Whenever I tell people that it's a luncheon, they think that they have to get all dressed up. I'm like, it's just a fancy way of saying a bunch of people getting together for lunch. It's the 3rd Wednesday of every month, unless the Rockies have a game, which they did on Wednesday, and then we just move it back a day. So I think next month it will actually be a Thursday. It'll be May 19th. So
yeah,
you can expect both of us, to be there, have some great conversation. You don't have to be a member to go there and check it out. And you don't even have to know a lot about baseball. We don't talk about numbers, facts, and figures. We're just passionate about the game. And there's a lot of interesting folks there. But we saw that on TV. We were all watching. We were having conversation. And then we would stop and look up. Okay, Cabrera's coming to the plate. And then Aaron Boone held up those 4 fingers. And boy, oh boy. That was rough. The fans were pissed. I don't blame them. I don't blame them.
There's a video of everyone getting up right after that happened. Like everyone was like waiting to go to the bathroom, holding it in. So like there's just like this mass exodus up into the concourse. It was like, oh, that's actually pretty funny. Everyone was just waiting and waiting and waiting, and no, you're not getting it.
And now the play ended up backfiring because Austin Meadows, who was batting 5th behind Cabrera, ended up doubling, scoring 2 runs. Great insurance runs because it was only 1-0 at that point. So, hey, the play ended up working in the Tigers' favor. They won the game, but I wrote about this today on the DNVR.com, 50 cents for your first month. But I bet you Tigers fans would have gladly traded that victory and said, yeah, it could have been a 16-1 loss. I was there to see Miguel Cabrera get a hit, not for the Tigers to win. If both things happen, great. But if I could only have one, come on. You want to see 3,000.
Yeah, it's funny. I actually know someone who went to the game today, who went down to Detroit for the game today. And they're like, are you serious right now? Like, it's just like, it keeps getting robbed from Detroit.
How about this? There's somebody out there right now that flew in for 48 hours. They got to the ballpark Thursday afternoon, and they were like, I'm going to see it. It's going to happen. He just had a 3-hit day. He's hot. It doesn't happen. That's okay. I've got my tickets for Friday night, and oh crap. Right? There are people that
there's got to be people.
And even people just from Detroit that have probably purchased those and go, well, I can't go Saturday, but I'm going to get tickets for Thursday and Friday. I got 2 shots at this. I got 2 shots. I can't go Saturday. I got work, whatever it is. And now, and there's now going to be people that get tickets for Saturday that may or may not know which game they have tickets to. There will be people going. So I think, wow, and I don't actually know the answer to this because Saturday's game was supposed to be at 11:10. So if you had tickets to Saturday's 11:10 game, do you get in at Saturday at 11:10, or is that game now? 4:10?
That's a good question.
I think if you had tickets for Friday's game, I'm guessing. I have no idea. Didn't dig into it this far. I think there's a limit to what we need to research and what we need to talk about here on the show. But hey, hit us up. Hit me up. Email me, patrick@thednvr.com, and say how disappointed you are. But I would guess that the 11:10 game on Saturday is still the 11:10 game on Saturday. You have to see Austin Gomber, but because he's going later, but the Friday night game is probably going to be the second game on set. I think that makes the most sense. I've seen that on opening day. Like they've done that before.
That makes the most sense to me too. I would bet my money that that's how it'll pan out. Yeah. Someone who has tickets will have to let us know.
Wow, it's crazy. So, a couple interesting facts and figures about Miguel Cabrera. I wrote about this. This was in a bunch of places all throughout the day. Rockies even had it in their game notes. If Miguel Cabrera does this and records his 3,000th hit against the Rockies, it'll actually be the fourth time that it's happened to the Rockies, which first off is amazing because I think since 1993, Cabrera would be like the 15th player to record his 3,000th hit. And so for four of them to have been against the Rockies obviously is wild, right? And they've only been around since 1993. And believe it or not, that would actually tie a record. So the Minnesota Twins / Washington Senators franchise, it happened to them 4 times. So the more recently, Rod Carew, Eddie Murray, Cal Ripken Jr. got their 3,000th hit against the Twins. But before they were the Minnesota Twins, they were the Washington Senators, and Tris Speaker ended up doing it, I'm going to say maybe back in the early 1920s, something like that. So it's happened to them 4 times, but they've been around close to 100 years. Rockies, this is season 30, and this could be their 4th time that it's happened to them.
That is insane to me. These numbers are nuts. Right? What are the odds,
Yeah, who are some of those guys? Who are those 4 guys that recorded 3,000th hit? I think the last one would have been Ichiro Suzuki in 2016.
Yeah, Ichiro Suzuki, Craig Biggio, Ricky Henderson. So yeah, those are the 3. And then possibly Miguel Cabrera.
Yeah, with Ichiro, that was the only one that's ever happened at Coors Field. I was there for that bad boy. It was fantastic. Only the second triple for the 3,000th hit. Paul Mahler did that in 96. If you actually go back and listen to Friday's podcast, that dropped Friday morning. We recorded it on Thursday afternoon with Drew Goodman. He had some of his memories about the Craig Biggio game in 2007, back when the Astros were, a National League team. He got it off Aaron Cook. He tried to stretch a single into a double, and so it didn't work. Willie Taveras threw him out at second base. It was Taveras to Troy Tulowitzki, tagged out Craig Biggio, and that's the only time a 3,000th hit has resulted in an out. Which makes sense because you go, well, it's a hit. It's not an out. It's a hit. But no one else has ever tried to just bloop a ball in the center field and get 2 bases out of it. I mean, at Coors Field, it happens all the time.
Yeah.
But Biggio tried to do it. He actually got out. They stopped the game, and that was interesting. And then Ricky Henderson was one that I didn't really remember. It did take place the latest in any season. It was October 7th, 2001. Of course, unfortunately, that was because the season got pushed back after the attack on 9/11. And that probably wasn't even like the biggest story of the day there, because 60,000 plus people went to Qualcomm Stadium, which used to be Jack Murphy Stadium, where the Padres played in San Diego. They all gathered to see Tony Gwynn's final game. And then lo and behold, Ricky Henderson singles in the first inning. They celebrate, and then it's like, okay, now back to Tony Gwynn. He's the guy that we really want to be celebrating.
When it rains, it pours.
Yeah, I love that story. But I think you saw something about Alan Trejo. He was talking about that today, right? I totally missed it.
Yeah. So actually, Alan Trejo was on Unassisted on MLB Network Radio with Jenny Kavnar, our good friend. But he was talking about what it would be like, if he is there for that 3,000th hit. And he was just like, yeah, like it would be so cool to be able to watch that in person. And just like had so many nice things to say about how, Miguel Cabrera has grown the game and how he's just done so much for baseball. So it was a cool interview. They've replayed clips of it a lot all day. So I was like, okay, yeah, like let's get our guys some attention. I love that. But yeah, he was like, yeah, it would be really cool to see that in person.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, I love Trejo getting the push, getting a little bit of bump from Jenny. People need to, keep an eye on him. We'll see what happens with Brendan Rodgers. He's struggling right now. Maybe you see Trejo a little bit at second base. It's not time to totally give up on Rodgers, but maybe Trejo gets in there and whacks a couple more homers, and we'll see. Maybe he will become more of a known name nationally, just outside of Denver. But You and I had kind of talked about this briefly off the air. We were texting each other that this could be maybe the last time in a while that we see another player, or that we see a player get their 3,000th hit.
Yeah, because the next guys in line aren't that close and pretty old, so they don't. Yeah, like we're not going to see this. We got to enjoy this.
We do. Yeah. Robinson Cano has the next most after Cabrera, 2,600. He's 39. You know, his best days seem to be behind him. Yadier Molina after that, 21-16. That's it. And then Joey Votto. So
Joey Votto, I keep forgetting that Joey Votto is 38 years old because he's so active on TikTok.
Yeah. 38 going on a 14-year-old middle school girl. Like, yeah,
yes. But he's not that close. He's at 2033. Like, that is
totally. After Cabrera, there's only 3 guys right now that have 2,000 hits. And then maybe by the end of the year, depending on how well these seasons go, maybe Andrew McCutchen gets in there. He needs about 163 hits. Elvis Andrews needs 125. Nelson Cruz, 41 years old. He needs 76. So, like, again, they'll probably get to 2,000 at some point, but we're talking about 3,000 hits, and that's a totally different beast.
Yeah, so the odds of us seeing it again anytime soon are very low.
It is, yeah. It's like I said, it's a different beast. And speaking of different beasts, you got to check out the American Raptors, and not the Raptors like the dinosaur. Talking about the birds. I'm also a birder. I know Adam has that market cornered, Adam Mares from the Nuggets beat, but I'm right there with him. I just don't brag about it. I don't bring in my bird books to share them around and say, okay, I'll look at this book that I made and it's leather bound. It's like, it's not, like, it clearly says Sibley on it. You didn't make that, Adam. Yeah, shots fired. I'm calling you out on bird knowledge. No one wants to see that matchup, by the way, but they do want to see some wonderful rugby down in Glendale, Colorado, especially since you can get tickets for free. All you got to do is go to AmericanRaptors.com for your free tickets and check out our very own Colton Strickler on the DNVR Rugby podcast. He drops info every week with the basics on rugby. He also interviews top athletes and coaches in the sport. He's got excellent betting tips for this year's Super Rugby. That's just the big season that they have going on down there. I almost said south of the border. Down under. That was the word I'm looking for. Down under. That's where they do all the rugbying. But you've got great rugby here in your backyard. All these crossover athletes who've played sports professionally in all the different trades, football, basketball, baseball. So you can learn the sport as they're getting used to it too. Head over to AmericanRaptors.com for more information at that. And all those guys, I don't know this for a fact, but I can only imagine that they probably start their day off very similar to me, and that's with a scoopful of Athletic Greens. It's something that I use every day. I've been taking it partially because I found that it makes a serious difference for my gut health. People don't talk about that very much, but I drink a lot of kombucha doing those things because, like, if you eat something a little bit wonky, you feel it, and it's too late by that point. But with Athletic Greens, your body's going to absorb 75 high-quality vitamins, this one's always tripping me up. Whole food sourced superfoods, probiotics, minerals, and adaptogens that help you start your day right. For me, it makes me a lot more alert and gives me a lot of clarity before I even have my first cup of coffee of the day. It's a micro habit that for me has big benefits. I think it'll do the same for you. And to make it easy, Athletic Greens is actually going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you got to do is visit athleticgreens.com/ROC. That's the first 3 letters of Rockies. Again, that is athleticgreens.com/ROC to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance.
It's good stuff.
It's so it actually is.
I finally got my supply of it, so I just started trying it earlier this week.
I may have to borrow a couple travel packs. I'm running low. Like I'm hard up for them.
My gosh.
I need it. Like it's really like I feel off if there's a day where if I'm out or whatever it may be, like I need to start my day with it. It's great. Now, just to finish up the story about 3,000 hits, Dan Zimborski from Fangraphs, friend and former guest on the podcast. We had him on this offseason. He actually wrote an article a few months ago about the odds of someone reaching 3,000 hits. search it out online. You'll find it.
Mhm.
And he's got a projection system that suggests that only 4 players right now active will even remotely reach 2,500 hits, like basically 50% or more. Jose Altuve, Freddie Freeman, Fernando Tatis Jr., who only has like 900 hits, something like that. He doesn't
Mhm.
have very many hits to begin with, right?
Mhm.
Because he premiered or he debuted in 2019. So like
That's
he
never
hasn't been
worked
on.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he has 293 hits. I'm sorry. I got the 9 backwards in my head. Yeah.
You're
293
like really
hits.
pumping up his numbers.
Yeah, really, way too much. I'm like, wait a minute. He's only been around for like 3 years. Yeah, he's got 293 hits, yet the projection system says he's got a 55% chance to get to 2,500. Similar odds with Juan Soto, but the highest percentage that he was able to project to get 3,000 hits is Jose Altuve, and it's only a 34% chance. That's it.
Yeah, that's
That's it.
crazy.
That's really
What
low.
surprises me is Mike Trout's percentage of making it to 2,500.
What? Well, so he's about halfway there. So I would think he'd have pretty good odds. What?
He's only got 5% odds.
Oh my God, that's insanely low. The only, I mean, he has been a little bit banged up, but
Mm-hmm.
still, that doesn't. I would think he has much better odds. But that's interesting that Zimborski's projection system has something like that.
The Mike Trout disrespect here. Wow.
Absolutely. Wow. You can't be doing that to New Jersey's finest.
No.
No. And I think one of the reasons why this is happening is I wouldn't put it on 2020, right? Like you say, well, there was 102 less games than normal. I wouldn't put it on that because that's only so much. But we know since the days of Moneyball, again, that we're talking early 2000s, but it really wasn't adopted by everyone in baseball until 5-10 years later. I mean, we look at Joey Votto, we think about him as one of the greatest hitters, and yet he has a little over 2,000 hits. That's because the goal of a hitter now isn't to get a hit. The goal of a hitter is to not make an out.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do put the ball in play, it's to hit it hard. So it's to have a very high slugging percentage. If you strike out, so be it. If you take a walk, great. So we're not valuing hits like we used to. So it kind of stands to reason that guys aren't trying to 200 hits doesn't necessarily mean anything. It's about, hey, what's my WAR?
Yeah.
So it's wild. I don't know if we'll see it. We'll probably see it again in our lifetime, but
in our lifetime, maybe, yeah.
Well, I don't know if I mentioned this before, but I think baseball might be changing in a major way. If you got between the pitch clock speeding up the game, right,
Mm-hmm.
and the way that they may be tinkering with the baseball, we're seeing that home run numbers are down.
Mm-hmm.
Baseball teams will then start to figure out, hey, we just got to put the ball in play. The pitchers are throwing pitches, a little bit quicker. They might not have the same control of command. They're filling up the strike zone a little bit more. The ball's not flying. So, go back to hitting more line drives rather than fly balls. Maybe even you're not going to want to hit ground balls because they're still going to be outs. But even still, you could see a change in approach a little bit whereby, you know what, maybe you don't have as many walks. And so there is a lot more value on base hits, even singles. It doesn't have to be extra base hit. Could just be singles. We'll see.
Yeah. I'm most curious about this pitch clock thing because it actually has sped up games in the minor leagues in this short period of time.
Very promising. Wasn't because I think we talked about it that one night, the 12-11 game between Tacoma and the Albuquerque Isotopes.
Mm-hmm.
Was that under 2 hours? Or no?
I don't think it was under 2 hours, but it was a pretty short game for something like that.
Yeah, I thought I heard something like absurd where you're like, not only was there 23 runs, but it got under 2 hours. And I think, and again, that's going to make there's going to be a lot of people that come back to baseball. I know there's been this talk of, well, games that are longer allows you more opportunities to bet and to gamble.
Mm-hmm.
But 8-year-old kids aren't gambling. They want to see a quick game, right? They want
I
to see
hope
action.
they're not.
Well, I mean, a little bit. I don't know. It's where you were raised. If you marbles, bottle caps, pogs.
I mean, listen, we did spend a lot of time in Atlantic City when I was a kid, but
that's it. And probably Wildwood, right? Was Wildwood the spot?
Lot. Honestly, we spent the most time in Atlantic City. That's why I am the way I am. These are stories for another time.
Atlantic City. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's Black Hawk by the water, I think that's what Atlantic City sells itself as. No,
Yeah, of course. Absolutely. Yeah, my
Central
great
City, but with
grandmother
a
was a
boardwalk.
big gambler, so we had a lot of comps.
I like, yeah, the comps. That's what it's about.
All
That's
about
what.
the comps.
Well, you and I, we hope to maybe get some comps. Uh, when it comes to the Field of Dreams, and full
Oh.
disclosure, our good buddy Dan Evans is part
Hmm.
owner, and he's the chief executive officer there in Dyersville, Iowa. But the first that I had seen this news was, from a negative slant. People were worried. They're saying, "What? They're tearing down the Field of Dreams." So, they're uh, they pave paradise to put up a parking lot. Well, as it turns out, that's not the
No,
case
not what's
at
happening.
all. No, a separate farm was purchased nearby the Field of Dreams site. $80 million is being invested to really turn this piece of land, this small town of Dyersville, Iowa, into something really, really unique and special. And so I know our guy, super producer Kale, put together a couple graphics, and here you get a feeling for what the facility will look like. Now, the movie site is off to the left, and it's kind of where you see the largest patch of not trees. I want to say trees, but no, it's corn. And
Corn,
so,
yes.
so from this aerial, you go, oh man, all you're going to be able to see all of that. Actually, that's not the case. Where they're doing all this construction, you won't be able to see it. The movie site will still be the movie site, and
Hmm.
there's going to be 9 baseball fields, so they'll be able to have all kinds of cool tournaments and stuff there. Did you have a favorite part from this announcement, Susie, when you saw it, of like, okay, this is cool. I love this aspect maybe more than anything.
I liked that there's a new hotel that's going in too. So I thought that
Right.
looked really nice. So there's the new diamonds, the youth player dorm, and the new hotel. The I guess timeline on that is to have it done by 2023. But I like the stuff that's coming later. This sounds lit, honestly. So they're gonna have an amphitheater and an RV park. And there's going to be a park geared towards adults and children with disabilities. And I think that's really sweet. I love to see inclusivity. So I like that they're also including that in there too.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic to make that. I mean, think about how many fathers will, and mothers, and
Mhm.
guardians, and aunts and uncles. We know
Thank
that
you.
that look after the children, and they say, "Well, hey, we're going on this tournament. It's cool to go to Cooperstown." Cooperstown, did that probably 2 decades ago, where they started building some fields off to the side, and uh, we got one coming here in northern Colorado, in Windsor, with the Northern Colorado Owls. They're going to be a professional Pioneer League team. And there's going to be a whole facility there. Future Legends Complex will bring you plenty of information when that starts coming out. June 1st is the first game. I think it's a night game, so you actually will be able to go see the Rockies during the day, and then that might be against the Giants, and then you can head on up to Windsor to see the Northern Colorado Owls, and do that. But it's wonderful for this facility to be there, especially for children of the Midwest. I don't tend to know all the different travel ball facilities that are out there. I'm sure there's some other really good ones, but particularly this one, you'll go out there, your kids will get to play some high level competition, whatever it may be. But on your off day or before or after a game, you can head on over to the movie site and have a game of catch with whoever is your beloved one that you are
Yeah.
passing the tradition and the love of baseball down to. And so, what better way to do that than this? I mean,
Hmm.
there's no airport in the area where you're going to provide cheap flights for people to fly in and have a game of catch there in Dyersville. This is a wonderful way to do that and to help that community as well.
Hmm.
Who's people come in and they come out, and all these tourists, now a lot more money can stay and help that small town community.
Yeah, and sports tourism in general is just so huge right now. So it's cool to see them capitalizing on that and just bringing the Field of Dreams legacy into more kids' lives. I think that's really fun.
Yeah, and making it a destination, and who knows what else happens. Obviously, Denver is totally different than Dyersville, but if you know the history of the Rockies, and what Lodo looked like in the early 90s, like it was a dangerous place. It was a bad spot. Colfax was once, considered the dangerous street in all of America. And then
Mhm.
Coors Field is built, and Everything else happens after that. It could be a reason why all of us are here now is because of the regeneration of that city. And so Dyersville on a much smaller level could experience that same kind of growth in a positive way. So it's really exciting. And, the field's in good hands besides our buddy Dan Evans. Like Frank Thomas is a part of this too. Chicago White Sox Hall of Famer. The ballpark that's going to be there too. I think that will stay up year round. And so it'll be a wonderful spot. We've seen it with the Little League World Series because MLB invested in that Howard J. Lombardi Stadium up there in Williamsport, and they've got tournaments. And then all those kids that are at the Little League World Series, when they do the Little League Classic, they get to meet all the big leaguers. That can now happen again at the Field of Dreams. So this is just a slam dunk. I use that phrase too much on a baseball show. It is it's a walk-off grand slam by someone's cousin.
It's a touchdown.
It is a touchdown. It's exciting. I would be curious to know, and I don't remember what the figures were last year for the Field of Dreams game. I think there's still scheduled one for this year. I think it should be Cubs and Cardinals, right? I know that was like originally the plan, and the pandemic moved things back. It might be Cubs and Cardinals this year. I'm not sure if that changed or not. Well, originally that was the plan for year 2, but year 2 was supposed to be in 2021. But I'd be curious. I don't know what the attendance figures were like last year for White Sox and Yankees, but I'd be curious, where would the Oakland A's have better attendance? Right now in Oakland or in Dyersville, Iowa, playing at the Field of Dreams site?
Oh my gosh. That was harsh. But yeah, the A's have had terrible attendance lately.
It's bad.
There are probably more feral cats at the Coliseum than fans.
You keep tabs on all these interesting things. Yeah, I did hear about that.
Yeah, I'm just very interested in the feral cat beat. But yeah.
And how many cats are counted towards attendance? That's another thing too. I don't know how that works. No, I've heard some stuff where like teams have a way of like bumping up attendance and boosting it, like legal ways, like they're known. But right now, Oakland is not trying to bump up and boost their attendance in any way. They wanted to make it clear, look how bad this is. Please give us a new stadium here somewhere in Oakland. The plans that they've presented nearby, I'm trying to remember what it was called, Howard Terminal, something like that. But they look amazing. It looks fantastic. It looks like, dare I say, a touchdown. It looks like that. It looks amazing. But it does seem to be that maybe a move to Las Vegas could be what's in store for the Oakland Athletics. And I think the graphics would look cool because I thought of this in my head. You'll just see like when they announce it, it'll say Vegas, VEGA '. Look at that. Is that awesome? Right?
That's
Vegas.
very reminiscent of tacos.
Okay, that's not where the idea came from, but you're right. It's very similar. But '. Actually, tacos. We have to make a graphic of that. Whenever the Rockies do battle with the Orioles, that's when we'll have the OS be the Orioles with O's. Right? And we'll have, I don't know.
Look at you getting the wheels turning.
If Athletics are going to Vegas, that's it. It's gonna happen. We'll see.
It bums me out, but they moved before.
That's true.
Our former Philly A's.
Kansas City, and I think there's a couple other moves too that they nearly made. But yeah, those poor A's, they are not drawing very many fans. There will be a lot of fans this weekend. There'll be a lot of fans, quote unquote. Viewers of the live DNVR Rockies podcast will be coming to you live on Sunday post game. That's an early one, 11:10. So you can get all your post game wrap up and recap nice and early and still have some time for a Sunday dinner, a cab, whatever you're drinking. You have a bottle there of something. I don't know what it is. I'm gonna blow up your spot.
Oh, it's literally water.
So you're chugging.
I'm not drinking wine out of a bottle. I'm drinking water. Sorry to disappoint. I know.
No, we believe you. We believe you. Kale and I have never seen red water before, but we believe you. All right. And on that note, no, I'm kidding. And on that note, this has been great. It's been fun. But you know what they say? They say you got to plug your social media account. So we will. At DNVR_Rockies. I'm at Patrick D. Lyons.
I'm at the Suzie Hunter.
Kale is, I don't remember your I don't remember your handle there, Kale. At Kale Sorbo, I think.
Yeah, I'm just at Kale Sorbo.
Yeah, you're the one
No.
you got in there before all the other Kale Sorbos.
There's no other Kale Sorbos, I don't think. It's a pretty
Fake.
unique name, so I would be surprised. I've never had an issue getting a password or whatever, with my name because
Okay.
there's not a lot of duplicate accounts out there of Kale Sorbo.
I'm setting the over under at 8.5 other Kale Sorbos out there. They're all in like Finland, and they don't speak English, and that's why they're not on these other sites. But I bet you there's got to be at least 8.5 people
I
out
have
there.
no idea. I have no idea.
I know of 1.5 people that are also named Kale Sorbo. All right, here we go. We're off the rails, and so let's bring it back.
It happened.
50 cents for your first month on the DNVR.com. Amazing content from all the beats besides just the Rockies, Nuggets, Av, Broncos. You name it. It's been great. It's been wonderful. But you know what they say about momentum? It's only as good as tomorrow's podcast. So we will talk to you then.